The world rushes on, doesn't it? A constant hum of doing, becoming, chasing. And somewhere inside, perhaps there's a quiet ache. A feeling of being slightly out of sync, like a radio tuned just off the station. You hear the noise, but miss the music. You long for a stillness that feels lost, a connection that seems just out of reach. What if peace isn't found in silencing the world, but in learning to listen differently? What if the deepest wisdom isn't in complex philosophies, but in the simple act of breathing alongside a silent companion? This space is an invitation to explore the quiet language spoken between your breath and the breathing world, a way to feel connected, even when you feel alone, the profound presence waiting within the simplest moments. If your heart feels a gentle pull, stay. Let the noise fade. Let the listening begin. There's a tree waiting. It's been listening all along. Find that place. Perhaps it's a real tree, standing patient in a park, a garden, or seen from your window. Or perhaps it's a tree held only in your memory, vivid and welcoming. See its form, the sturdy trunk reaching down into the earth, the branches reaching up towards the sky. Feel the air around it, the quality of light filtering through its leaves. There's a stillness here, even amidst the city's distant sounds or the wind's soft whisper. It's a different kind of quiet, not an absence of sound, but a presence, a deep, unwavering presence that holds space for everything. Settle into this space. Let your own breath find its natural rhythm. No need to change it, control it, or judge it. Just notice it. The gentle rise and fall. The cool air entering, the warm air leaving. Feel the ground beneath you, supporting you, just as it supports the tree. Imagine the roots below, drawing sustenance from the dark, cool earth. Imagine the leaves above, drinking in the light, breathing with the sky. There's a silent exchange happening constantly, a cycle of giving and receiving, a quiet conversation between earth and sky, mediated by the tree, and perhaps by you. Allow the edges of yourself to soften. Let the tension in your shoulders ease. Let the thoughts that swirl like busy clouds begin to drift, noticed but not clung to. Here, in this opening silence, there is nothing to achieve, nothing to fix, only this moment, this breath, this quiet companionship with the tree. It stands, rooted and reaching, a testament to resilience, to patience, to simply being. Let its presence be a mirror, reflecting the quiet strength that resides within you too, beneath the surface noise. Breathe in, breathe out. The silence isn't empty. It's full of potential, full of peace, full of the tree, listening. But the mind often resists such quiet. It pulls us back into the familiar currents of worry, planning, remembering. We sit near the tree, yet feel miles away, lost in the labyrinth of our own thoughts. The leaves rustle, but we hear only the echo of yesterday's anxieties or tomorrow's demands. The breath flows, but we barely notice, already caught in the next mental loop. There's a subtle friction in this state, a feeling of being disconnected not just from the tree, but from ourselves. We long for peace, yet our inner landscape is often a battlefield of conflicting desires and fears. We want to be present, but the habit of distraction is strong, ingrained by years of rushing, striving, avoiding. We look at the tree, solid and serene, and feel a pang of inadequacy. Why can't we be like that? Why is stillness so elusive? This striving itself becomes a source of tension. The effort to be peaceful creates its own kind of noise. We judge our thoughts, criticize our inability to focus, compare our inner state to some imagined ideal. The separation widens. The tree stands in effortless grace, while we wrestle with the invisible chains of our own making. We might feel a sense of isolation, even surrounded by life. The world seems to move on, vibrant and full, while we feel stuck, observing through a pane of glass. The connection we sense is possible feels just beyond our grasp, like a forgotten word on the tip of the tongue. This isn't a failing. It's the human condition, amplified by a world that constantly demands our attention, pulling us away from the quiet center where true listening happens. It's the ache of forgetting our own rootedness, our own inherent connection to the breathing earth. It's the tension of living on the surface, while a deeper reality calls to us, unheard beneath the noise. Once, there was a man named Bāhiya of the Bark-Clothed Garment. He lived by the seashore and was revered by many as an arahat, a fully enlightened being. But Bāhiya himself felt a doubt. He wondered, am I truly an arahat, or am I not? A deity, sensing his unease and having compassion for him, appeared in the night and spoke. Bāhiya, you are neither an arahat, nor have you entered the path to arahatship. You lack the practice whereby one becomes an arahat or enters the path. Deeply stirred, Bāhiya asked, then who, in this world with its deities, is an arahat or has entered the path? The deity replied, Bāhiya, in the town of Savatthi dwells the Exalted One, the Buddha. He is truly an arahat and teaches the Dhamma for attaining arahatship. Hearing this, Bāhiya immediately departed. Traveling without stopping, driven by intense urgency, he arrived at Savatthi where the Buddha was walking for alms. Bāhiya approached him, fell at his feet, and pleaded, Venerable Sir, teach me the Dhamma. Teach me the Dhamma, O wayfarer. That will be for my long-lasting welfare and happiness. The Buddha, seeing it was not the time for teaching while on alms round, replied, This is not the time, Bāhiya. We have entered among the houses for alms. A second time, Bāhiya pleaded, and a second time the Buddha declined. A third time, Bāhiya implored, Venerable Sir, it is hard to know the dangers to the Exalted One's life, or the dangers to my life. Teach me the Dhamma, Venerable Sir. Seeing his intense spiritual readiness, the Buddha stopped and taught him the essence of the practice. Then, Bāhiya, you should train yourself thus. In the seen, there will be only the seen. In the heard, there will be only the heard. In the sensed, there will be only the sensed. In the cognized, there will be only the cognized. This is how you should train yourself, Bāhiya. When, Bāhiya, for you in the seen there is only the seen. In the cognized there is only the cognized. Then, Bāhiya, you will not be with that. When you are not with that, then, Bāhiya, you will not be in that. When you are not in that, then, Bāhiya, you will be neither here nor beyond nor in between the two. This itself is the end of suffering. Instantly, through this profound instruction, Bāhiya's mind was liberated from the taints, free from clinging. He attained arahatship right there. After the Buddha departed, Bāhiya was gored to death by a cow with a calf. Later, when the monks informed the Buddha, he instructed them to cremate Bāhiya's body and build a stupa, declaring him the foremost among his disciples in swiftness of understanding. Dhammapada, verse 101. Better than 1,000 verses composed of meaningless words is one sensible word on hearing which one becomes tranquil. Dhammapada, chapter 8, Thousands, verse 101 source. Dhammapada commentary, story 8. 2. Conversion of Bāhiya Dharasiriya. Bāhiya's journey, his urgent quest and sudden awakening, holds a quiet echo for us as we sit with the tree. His liberation came not from complex rituals or elaborate philosophies, but from a radical shift in perception. In the seen, only the seen. In the heard, only the heard. What does this mean, here, now, with the breath, with the tree? It means letting go of the layers we add. When we look at the tree, do we truly see the tree, its texture, its color, the play of light on its leaves? Or do we see our thoughts about the tree, memories it evokes, judgments about its health, plans for the garden? When we feel the breath, do we simply feel the sensation of air moving? Or do we immediately label it, analyze it, wish it were deeper, calmer? Bāhiya was taught to strip away the commentary, the story, the self that inserts itself into every experience. He learned to meet reality directly, without the filter of I, me, mine. The tree listens, not with ears that interpret and judge, but with its entire being. It simply receives the sunlight, the rain, the wind, the presence of the bird on its branch. It exists in a state of pure receptivity. Can we learn to listen like that? To listen to our own breath not as my breath that needs fixing, but simply as breath happening? To listen to the rustle of leaves not as a sound to be identified or ignored, but simply as sound arising and passing? In the herd, only the herd. This isn't about emptiness or detachment in a cold sense. It's about intimacy. By removing the layers of thought and self-reference, we actually come closer to the experience itself. We touch the reality of the moment more directly. The tree ceases to be an object out there and becomes part of the field of awareness, just like the breath, just like the feeling of the ground. The separation dissolves, not through effort, but through this simple, radical presence. Bāhiya wasn't with that. He wasn't identifying with the seen, heard, sensed, or cognized. He wasn't in that. He wasn't lost within the experience. He was the awareness in which all things arose and passed. This is the end of suffering, the Buddhist said, because suffering arises from the clinging, the identification, the stories we weave around raw experience. When we just allow the seen to be seen, the heard to be heard, the breath to be felt, the tree to be present, without adding the weight of our personal narrative, a profound peace emerges. It's the peace of non-resistance, the peace of simply being. The tree embodies this. It doesn't strive. It doesn't resist the seasons. It simply is, fully present in its treeness. And in its presence, it invites us back to our own. Let your awareness settle again, gently, like dust settling in a quiet room. Bring your attention back to your breath, and back to the presence of the tree, whether real or imagined. There's no need for intense focus, just a soft resting of attention. Feel the air enter your body. Feel it leave. Now, imagine the tree breathing too. Not with lungs, perhaps, but with its whole being. The slow draw of water from the earth, the release of oxygen into the air, the subtle exchange through its leaves. Feel your breath and the tree's breath happening in the same space, within the same field of awareness. Let the rhythms coexist. Yours might be faster, the tree's immeasurably slow, but both are part of the pulse of life. Don't try to synchronize, just notice the shared reality of breathing, of being alive in this moment. As you breathe in, perhaps imagine drawing in the quiet strength of the tree, its rootedness. As you breathe out, perhaps release some of the tension, the inner noise, letting it dissolve into the air like mist. Let the tree be an anchor. When thoughts arise, and they will, gently notice them, like clouds passing in the sky above the tree's branches. Acknowledge them without judgment, and then softly guide your attention back to the sensation of breathing, back to the feeling of the tree's presence. Listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole body. Listen to the silence between sounds. Listen to the feeling of the air on your skin. Listen to the subtle sensations within your own body. Can you listen without naming? Without interpreting? Just receiving? Like Bāhiya, like the tree. In the herd, only the herd. In the sensed, only the sensed. Stay here for a few moments. Just breathing, just being. Connected, not through thought, but through shared presence. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel the air around you. Feel the life within you and the life within the tree. There is no separation, only a continuous flow. Allow yourself to rest in this knowing, this feeling. It doesn't require effort. It only requires permission to be still, to listen, to receive. The tree is here. You are here, breathing together. That is enough. When the noise quiets and the listening deepens, what remains? When we stop telling the story of separation and simply feel the shared breath of life flowing through us and through the world, what truth begins to dawn? What happens in that silent space where the tree's presence meets our own, unburdened by thought, received in stillness? What whispers back from the heart of that connection? If this moment of stillness resonated, perhaps save this reflection. Share it with someone who might need this quiet space. Subscribe to continue exploring the path of presence. Together, may your breath be peaceful, may your connection deepen.